Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Vancouver Resource Investment Conference, and it's afternoon, the first day at the booth of Endeavour Silver, and with me here is Bradford Cooke, the CEO of the company, and of course we want to get a lovely update about the company and the silver market. Bradford, Happy New Year and welcome.
Thank you very much and welcome to Vancouver.
Thank you. Well, always great to be here and always not only to be in the town but also the resource conference. I think Endeavour had a great year last year, but this year also looks really fantastic. You just brought out, let's start with that first, some new resource estimates. Maybe some were in the first instant a little bit disappointed that, it's only decrease, but I think there are missing some things, right?
Yes.
Maybe you can explain a little bit.
Yes. But I think first it would be good for us to comment actually on this conference.
Yeah.
1 year ago, this conference was like a bowling alley where you could roll the ball down the alley and you'd hear the echo.
That's right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What an incredible turnaround in this sector, this mining
totally
sector.
Crowded.
Totally crowded. At the 8:30 panel discussion this morning, 500 people already sitting in the audience, 500 more lined up to come in.
Wow.
Incredible.
That's fantastic.
So I just think that is a reflection of partly the interest in our sector, partly the awareness amongst the general public that this is a very different year. We had the Brexit and Trump last year, and I think there's a risk of more geopolitical developments in 2017.
Oh yes, especially in Europe.
Yeah, very much so.
With all the elections.
Very much so. Silver and Endeavour. Silver, of course, had a very interesting year last year. It refused to move even January, February, March when gold was moving. Silver really seemed stuck. And then April, May, June, boom, it exploded. That's so typical of silver. Endeavour, same thing, Last year, our focus was not growing. Our focus was on not losing money.
Yeah.
Which we succeeded in doing.
You did well, I would say.
So, if last year was a turnaround year for the silver sector as a whole, and Endeavour Silver in particular, I would call 2017 a transformative year for both the silver sector and for Endeavour. Transforming from holding the fort to growth.
Yeah.
And we did 2 acquisitions last year. We also advanced our exciting new discovery at Terra last year. And when you asked me about the reserves and resource statement last week, there was a small dip in our reserves and resources based on the initial announcement because we did not include any of the new resources at 2 of our projects.
That's a major difference.
And those new resources will be coming in mid to late March.
Okay.
Specifically on the Terra project, which is a discovery of ours, on which we're completing a pre-feasibility study for release in mid to late March. And also the first ever resource estimate for our El Compas acquisition, which we're actually putting into production this year, but we haven't announced the resources yet. So when you add those 2 in, I think people will realize that our consolidated reserves and resources actually should do better than what we already announced.
Yeah, I would say much better. That's great. And I mean, you are having, I would call it like a big game plan for the next 3 years. There is the chance that you bring 3 more mines in production, yeah? I would say El Compas is for sure. Probably Terra is for sure. Paral, we will see. But there's big things are coming, aren't they?
Yes, indeed. What we have announced already is simply our goals to grow the production by 50% over the next 3 years by developing 3 new mines, and by 100% over the next 5 years. What we haven't announced is the pathway to accomplish those goals. And I think after the 2 economic studies on Compas and Terra are released in late March, then we can lay out the timeline to develop 3 mines in 3 years and show people how we can grow this company.
Develop 3 mines in 3 years. We would assume that costs some money, of course, also. Can you finance that out of cash flow? Do you have the money already? I mean, you did several ATMs last year also. You had a great cash flow coming up with the higher silver prices, gold prices, and we are both more bullish, let's say, on the silver gold price in the future. So maybe elaborate a bit on that.
So we started planning for our growth last year, and as you know, we not only enjoyed free cash flow from the operations, but we did an equity raise to beef up the treasury. At year end, we had more than 80 million cash, 90 million working capital. So most of our growth for the next 3 years is already fully funded, with one exception. Terronera is a bigger project. We hope it will become our largest and most profitable mine in 3 years' time. And there is one debt component to our financing we haven't yet completed, and we hope to do that this year.
Fantastic, great. So what are, let's say, the milestones for the next 6 to 9 months? What do you want to do?
Oh my goodness.
That's a lot, I know.
Well, we are releasing our guidance for production and costs. That's coming out next week. We have a new senior appointment in management. That's the week after. I think we have, in March alone, we have the year-end financials, of course, from our performance last year. The 2 economic studies and the 2 resource studies for Terronera and Compass, all of that is in March. Then we move into some more management appointments. In April, we'll have exploration results. So a very busy next 3 months for the company.
Great, fantastic. Maybe company looks terrific, that's no question, yeah. And I'm a happy shareholder too, anyway. But for me, it's also important, as you are one of the top silver producers in the world, how do you see the market? I can remember you said to me, yeah, we are moving into a deficit, silver is going to the deficit maybe for the next 2-3 years even, yeah. So how can you comment on the current market situation? How do you rate it for the next, let's say, 2-3 years?
I'm a bullish proponent of silver, especially in the next 3 years, primarily for fundamental reasons. I'm sure we can see a rising investment demand, but that's not the main reason. We've had now a structural problem in the silver market for several years. 5 of the last 6 years, we've had a demand deficit, falling short of supply. And so what we've seen is above ground inventories for silver starting to fall these last 5 years. With the lack of development of new copper, lead, and zinc mines that produce silver as a byproduct, we will finally see silver mine supply peaking last year. And I expect at least 3 years of reduced new mine supply. So, and that's simply a function of no new copper mines, no new lead mines, no new zinc mines.
Wow.
With falling supply and rising investment demand, it's a perfect storm for silver. I do expect silver to significantly outperform gold over these next 3 years.
Wow. Are you able to give maybe a little bit of some price targets? Of course, we don't want to nail you on that, but just an idea.
Sure.
What do you think?
Well, I think we'll see that last year's pattern will be repeated every year going forward. That is, slow out of the gates, lagging behind gold. And in the first quarter, typically February, March, maybe even as late as April, then silver will start to take off because of the fundamentals that are better than gold. So gold will always lead, silver typically follows, but because of the fundamentals, silver outperforms. And I see this year maybe a modest $16 to $19 range with 1 or 2 exceptions. I call this the year of the Wildcard because where will the next Brexit happen? Where, what
elections, whatever.
What tweet will Trump come up with next? It doesn't take much to move these markets. In other words, to impact negatively the U.S. dollar and impact positively the prices of gold and silver. It doesn't take much. I see a wild card at $24 silver this year.
For this year? Wow.
I see
That's a statement.
I see a wild card into the $30 range. The year after. I see a wild card to the $40 range the year after, and then that's not even the top of the market.
Great. I love that. That's a great final statement. Bradford, thank you very much for that, and yeah, we keep fingers crossed with the 3 new mines. All the best, and we look forward to your news, of course, to your news flow, and I'm pretty sure we see us soon at the PDAC and comment on that.
Absolutely. You know, I think we have the most aggressive organic growth profile in the silver space.
Absolutely,
three new mines in 3 years, and we're not done yet.
I believe that. I know you. Great. Thank you very much. And yeah, keep it going and good success for the show.
Very much. Thank you.